The Witching Hour, June 9th, 2025. Like, subscribe, share, comment, cause you're beautiful, that's why. So I did not pray out the witching hour today. I want to say that to start off with. Some pretty, for me, extraordinary things have been happening because the Lord wants me to pay more tithes and offerings than what I've been paying. And, you know, I tell you guys, and it's true, that I give about 60% of my SSI goes to uh, the third world. And the reason the Lord wants me to give more than that is because He had blessed me with access to well over, I'll just say over $100 a month, where I could get, it's not in the form of cash, but where I could get food from grocery stores as opposed to getting, uh, you know, being dependent on pantry church food giveaways, which is awesome to be sure. But there's things that you really can't get at there at these places, or that's unlikely. So that's where you really need to go to the store to try to make up for what you can't get there. And so the Lord has given me, um, with the little money that's left over from my SSI, the $23 a month that I get in food stamps, and then with this other $100 access to food and other supplies, the Lord has allowed me to stock up and to and I'm kind of making this a long story, but I want to tell you how. I just want to show you how God works because He's wonderful. Um, the Lord has given me plenty of money to stock up on the things that you can't get for free, right? From church food pantries. Praise His holy name. And so once this began in April, which is interesting. April is the month of my birthday, so it was almost I could interpret that saying, "Wow, it's as if God blessing me, with my birthday on my birthday, like it's if it was a birthday gift, with this over $100 a month." And one of the first things that I thought is, I probably should start paying more tithes and offerings on this since I can buy a lot of stuff that I would get in cash. Um, I should add another $20 and maybe just give the $20 to folks who were homeless. But I was like, no, I don't think so. So I didn't do it. And I was wrong for not doing that because I can afford that because with the, you know, I can tell you this and it's going to sound bad or like but God wants us to live our life is to be a living sacrifice. That means economically as well. And I have about $70 a month in cash. And the reality is that there's not a lot of stuff that I need that requires cash. So that's plenty. So I give away 20, it's going to leave me with about 50. Again, for a lot of people, they're not going to comprehend, well, how can you get by with just $50 in cash? Well, like I said, I get my food for free. What I can't get for free, I'm able to go to grocery stores and get anyway. The Lord's blessed me richly. I praise His holy name. And I mean, someone who's middle class, she she has a basically a government job. I don't know how much she makes, but and her husband works. When she saw my pantry, she was like, "Wow, your pantry, your food, your your prepper supply is better than mine." She was like surprised, and it's I've got like two or three times that amount of food now. God has blessed me. I can afford to do this. So, last night, my phone got cut off, and I was really surprised because it's a direct. They take the money directly out of my account, and so I was like, "What the heck happened here?" So when I contacted them today, they were like basically, the card wasn't working, so I had to pay. Fortunately to God, I have a second debit card with a little bit of money on it. I paid it off with that card. Praise God. And if it, I was going to transfer money to this other account, and had I done that, I would not have been able to pay off my get my phone turned back on. And I'd had to go to the bank where, for some reason, the card has been blocked. They call it a captured stolen block or something. I have no idea who did this. Um, if it's them doing it to try to make my life miserable, I'm okay with that because when you are paying tithes and offerings, and ultimately I'm paying way more than 10%. I just need to give more. As one woman said, and I almost had a tissy when she said this. She said, if something happens and you take a hit economically or um, materially, she said it's because you're not giving enough away. You need to give more away. I didn't like when she said that because at the time I was paying around 10%. I pay way more than that now. But I believe her. I believe that was from the Lord. And so when I did get the card turned back on, I didn't get a discount. So I ended up paying more for this 30-day period of keeping my phone on than I would have paid had they been able to take it directly out of my account and set up the automatic payments. So I have to go to the bank. I am going to be paying $20. I'm going to be giving that to homeless folks. I'm also going to be bringing them some frozen, because it's kind of hot here in Wyoming now, in Cheyenne. I'm bringing them some frozen Gatorade. And in my heart, I feel like that will please the Lord. That's what the Lord wants me to do. He doesn't want me to give more than that. He doesn't want me to give less than that. And that's what I've decided in my heart that I'm going to do. And I'll be doing that every month from now on, as long as I'm receiving, and I will be receiving this extra access to buy food for another to the end of the year. So I'll definitely be paying this extra $20 to help to give folks who are homeless a little bit of cash. And I need to go to the bank and find out what happened. I called them, and I was on the phone for 2 hours. It's interesting, you guys, because this is how God ushers you into obedience. There's the stick and there's the carrot. He will bless you, or he can punish you for disobeying. Some things were going sort of better and better. Like I was getting a ton of studying done on my Pitman shorthand, which I've struggled to be disciplined and spend a lot of time because it takes a lot of time to master it. You really have to put in the effort to master it. And once you do, you become really, really fast. But then on the other hand, a few other things were kind of like going worse. Some of the targeting was increasing, becoming a little bit more uncomfortable. And then last month, someone worked on my bicycle for free. They were trying to fix a wobble in my front tire because I asked them to. And I had offered them $10 just to, like, for at least for gas, and they refused to take it. I said, well, why don't you take it then and give it to someone who's homeless? They were like, no, if you really want to do that, you do that for me. So that's what I did. I gave it away to someone I gave $5 each to this couple that were homeless. And so that is as if God was ushering me into obedience, and I just wasn't going to do it, though. Um, and I'm going to tell you, even though that money really was to pay this guy to help me out, I guess the fact, that I was still helping the homeless, and the fact that I still did at least what I said I was going to do. That day was so blessed, you guys. Oh my gosh, that day was so blessed. And I know once I do that today, I'm going to be so blessed. Jesus said, whatsoever you do unto the least of my people, you do unto me. Jesus said that. So, and the homeless are the least of Jesus's people, of Yeshua's people. So, I'm excited, y'all. And I accept God's discipline, as somebody who God has told to teach and preach the importance of paying tithes and offerings to TIs, so that you can realize the radical miracle working power of God. Um, I have to follow that in a manner that's more extreme than what I'm even asking you guys to do. And so having $50 a month in cash may seem like, well, aren't you being kind of dumb? But then the answer to that's no. The answer to that's no, I'm not. Um, Wait, stop, reset. Stop, reset. Okay, so 3, 2, 1, power 5. Sorry, you guys. Um, the reality is I'm not, because the Lord makes it get me through. I don't lack anything, you guys. I do not lack anything. I ain't going to lie. I'm telling you, I don't lack anything. And so now that the Lord has brought me into obedience, and I can't wait to pay. There's this little area, there's particular park where some homeless folks hang out, and I'll go there, and hopefully I'll find the same couple. But and I'll give them a little bit of money. Yeah, they may use some of that. I mean, it's only $20. They may use that to buy a beer, they may whatever, but they also may use part of it to buy food, which is probably more likely going to be the case rather than just assuming, oh, they're just going to use all of it, for substances or alcohol. But until I find proof of that, I help people. Once the Lord allows me to see, oh, they're taking advantage, then I stop helping. But I don't know. They may not be there, but I'll give it to somebody. As long as they don't look like they're out of their mind on substances, then I won't give them anything, because then you could cause them to OD, and we don't want to do that. But yeah, so I'm excited. I mean, the Lord did have to correct me. He ushered me into this, and I'm gonna tell you guys, I need God's blessing. I can't survive without Him. I cannot survive without Him. I cannot survive this targeting without Him, you guys. Because there's nothing that I'm doing, being loving to them, blessing them when they curse me, and this kind of stuff. None of this stuff am I doing comes from me. None of it is like of my own strength. None of it is because, I just kind of like figured it out to do this, or I'm a loving person. None of it is me. It all comes from the Lord. And the Lord can withdraw His grace, which He has done, you guys. Because I really, honestly, if I look back, I would say even in April, once I got that extra money, I knew I should at least give another 10% of my SSI to the Lord, or buy food for somebody. If I really didn't want to give cash, buy food for somebody. And give them that. But with folks who are homeless, a lot of times it is better to give them some money, because they have needs, and they don't necessarily know what those needs are at any given moment. But it could be to buy a soda, some water. It could be to buy a sandwich. But they have needs, some ice, especially in the summer. So I do recommend giving money to the homeless. And you'll see most homeless are not on substances. If you can tell that they are, don't give them anything, because you're going to potentially contribute to them over ODing, and we don't want to do that. But yeah, the Lord has disciplined me, you guys. And in my heart, I was like, well, let me go make up for the last 4 months that I didn't give. And I kept feeling in my heart like the Lord were telling me, no, you do not need to make up for the last 4 months that you didn't give. But you do need to start giving, and you need to start giving this month. So, and then from now on. And so that's what I'm going to do. And keeping in mind, you guys, that of course I pay tithes and offerings. The fact that I give almost 60% of my SSI away is gonna and that's how I felt. I felt like this is gonna cover that 100 and something easily. But that's not how the Lord looks at it. The Lord wants me to be a blessing. And so that's how we gonna do it. I sent out my love to all y'all beautiful born again TIs again. As I always say, tithe to the Lord, you guys. There's no greater blessing than if you tithe your money to the Lord, you guys. The blessings that you're going to receive will be phenomenal. I kid you not. They will be phenomenal. And so, you don't want to be shooting yourself in the foot by not obeying in this. I send out my love to all y'all beautiful born again TIs. God bless.